As we look out this evening, we see one deer to feeder only, a doe, and I believe that's Mr. Forrest walking up there. I'm not sure. He saw me here and stopped, looking around. That looks like Mr. Forrest. Big, beautiful guy that he is. I saw some deer off at a distance a little bit this morning, but nothing around close. It is actually beginning to green up, even though here we are, the middle of February. You can see some green out there as you look through the woods. Not a lot of green. Trees are actually dead, really, really dead. This is a dreary time of the year, February, but it's a wonderful time as well because just around the corner, spring. Spring is just around the corner. That is Mr. Forrest, without a doubt. I see his collar there. That takes a little bit to get that collar on him. I don't know if we'll be able to replace that collar this year or not. It was took a couple, 2 or 3 tries this last year. Of course, he's got to lose that big rack before we'll be able to attempt that. It looks like maybe we've got Bella here this week also, and it looks to me like Bella or Benelli walked out on the porch. Yeah, I see Benelli walking around out there. The little doe is a wild doe. No tag in her ear, and so she's skeptical of the dogs, and particularly one that hasn't been around a lot. She's skeptical of Bella. She has seen Bella before, but, when they don't see them all the time, they get a little skeptical. Both of the dogs are out there now looking around. Both of them have been out to the lake already this morning. Both of them are wet. You can see Big Bella's a big old dog there. She's beginning to get several years on her now. Sherry's dog, Sherry and Jack, are in Cabo this week, resting a little bit before Jack goes back to the grind. Benelli, I guess, has jumped back up on the porch there somewhere. I can't see her right now. Or she might have ran back down to the lake again. But we've got straps, bungee cords on the feeder, which at least for now seems to solve the problem of the elk getting in and emptying the feeder. The doe says, I don't know about that dog. And Benelli come back. So both of them are out there. Mr. Forrest, his big, beautiful, wide rack. Looks around for something to eat. Looks like there's nothing there right now. It'll be a few more hours before it goes off again in the middle of the day. It's right behind that tree. That's one thing they seem to be able to do unbelievably, even though they don't know you're there. They seem to be able to get right behind a tree when you're out deer hunting. But let's go over here and just squeeze over here and get a look at him. He looks pretty good. The labs exploring the morning. Oh yeah, stop and pee. It's like a deer. They're not paying a whole lot of attention to Benelli. They're going to go around, go to the lake again. They are water dogs, no doubt about that. But Forrest, he just stays right behind the tree and doesn't pay a whole lot of attention to them. Big, giant rack, beautiful Forrest. He's a handsome man, there's no doubt about that. Yes, he is. I believe what we have showing up now is TC, Thundercloud, probably the oldest deer on the ranch. Now, there's no way we know that for sure, but we do know that TC is several years old. And he still has his antlers here in the middle of February. He lost one of those. Look how white he is. He's, you can tell he's looking older. No doubt about that. And again, he's checking everything out. One lone little spike out there looks like that maybe has only one spike. He's running around with TC. You can see deer running across the road over there. one or two, probably another buck or two. We have rain in the forecast for today and tomorrow. We'll see how all that works out. You say, Jimmy, I don't see a deer over there. Well, I don't either now, as is the case. Oh, there's a Apache coming. Apache is coming. And that causes the deer to get a little bit more excited, because they are believing that Mr. Apache will throw some feed out of the feeder for them. And he will. But he drove right on by with bags of feed, and he's going to put in the feeders, the demand feeders. We're feeding alfalfa right now also, in addition to the demand feeders. And Mr. TC said, I'll come back later. I'll come back later. He's going to go over there and see if Apache will throw him some out on the ground, probably. They're smart. Yes, they are. Isn't he a pretty boy? I love to watch him walking in the woods. Yes, sir. He's going to see his buddy, Apache. Apache has scattered some feed for his baby. You see all the food there on the ground. Scattered some feed there for his baby, TC, and TC knew that would happen, and that's why TC was hanging around when he heard Apache's mule coming. He knew that that's his buddy and that he would always throw some food out for him. Not sure if that's food laying on the ground or not. Yeah, I guess it is. He usually throws out 3 or 4 scoops there. And so TC is alone. I'm surprised that Forrest didn't come up there also somewhere. Forrest is usually running around with his dad. But they are deer, and they got a lot of territory to roam in, no doubt about that. Deer are homebodies, though. They have areas they live in, and they stay around and enjoy each other, enjoy whatever God's provided for them there in the way of acorns and grasses and briars and leaves and all kinds of things that deer eat. And the good people like Apache, that gives them South Fresh deer food. South Fresh out of Decatur, Alabama. We've been using that deer food for years. The deer love it. The turkeys love it. The squirrels and crows and everything else loves it as well. And a lot of just wild birds that come around and eat around the feeders. Some of the stuff that's a little bit smaller. And they obviously can't eat some of the big stuff, but some of them can. It looks like that there's another deer there. I can see his feet underneath that feeder. Saw his head pop out there. I think that was a doe. But we should be losing antlers soon, but we're not. So we take a good look at you can see how his back swayed there as you're looking at him frontward. You see how it goes up there at his neck and then kind of got a little sway in it. That's an indication of a really old deer when he gets a little swayed back. You can see there. And it is a beautiful doe. Her hocks are still dark colored. And as he goes on off through the woods, got his full fill of Apaches pouring out a little, throwing out on the ground a little South Fresh deer food. Beautiful boy. Beautiful, beautiful boy right there. Yes, sir, he is. He's probably going to go out there and just relax and lay down, looks like he's looking for a place to lay down, but he might just be, he's just roaming, enjoying life on a beautiful morning before the rains come. Before the rains. I do love it. I enjoy watching them so much. Well, it looks like Mr. Forrest and his father, TC, two of our best homeboys. There's absolutely no doubt about that. You know, these guys right here spent time in the pen. They spent most of their lives out roaming in the wild. They have been in the pen. We actually have put Mr. Forrest back in, partially for his breeding ability, and then secondly for his own safety when he was injured a little bit. And but Mr. Forrest is doing great. He's feeding on the rye. You can see that's green patches of rye have come back out. Green is beginning to show up a lot on the grass, and the clover and stuff's growing out. So the deer are enjoying the front yard right here in between here and the lake. And as we kind of back up a little bit and look at what the morning looks like out there, not only do we have two big, beautiful bucks in the yard, but we have a beautiful morning. We have solid cloud cover. The lake, if you look down by the dock, you can see that our lake has come up quite a bit. You see the pier is a good example. The water is within around a foot or so of the bottom of the pier. You can see it's up pretty close. You can go over and look at the little boat dock where I've got both of my boat lifts up. The boats are all in the boat buildings. But you can't really see it real good right there, but you can see right there, we have to use a plank. Have to have a plank to walk onto that dock right now. That's how good the water is. And you look around, the trees, the mountain, it's still winter. It's still winter, guys and girls. The evergreens up on top, they're still green, but they're green all the time. They don't ever change. You see some evergreens scattered throughout the mountain there, but for the most part, all the big oak trees over there are dead. Mr. Forrest. As these deer feed along in the yard, Forrest and his father together, enjoying the morning before the rains come. And we should have rain sometime today. Might not come till tonight. Might not come at all. They're talking about over the next 24 hours or 36 hours, maybe as much as an inch total. A couple of 1/2 inch, 1.5 inch projection and a couple quarters, and those are for different time periods. So you add it all together, it'll be an inch. We'll take it. We will definitely take an inch of rain in February. Rain geishas patiently waiting. What has more patience than anything in the world? A rain gauge. Don't take that for gospel. Just my opinion. Big boys, you're looking beautiful down there. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. As we look out the bedroom window here, you can see that you have to take a little bit of a jump to get on that floating dock. But I've got a couple boards planks that usually are up there hanging on those rails. Actually, one of them's laying over there by that water scamp boat, which gets used occasionally, not very often. It's an old boat. It's got a lot of years on it, like its owner. Jackson kayak over there on the dock. My other Jackson kayak is on the deck. We have a dock. We have a deck. We call them both docks. We call them both decks. But those two boys are beautiful there. We're working on a little small clover, as well as the rye. The rye is growing back again as we have warm weather pop in. This particular little rain right here could produce a little snow later tonight or in the morning, so we haven't seen anything but just a little spitting of snowflakes this winter. Snow is a bonus here in southern Oklahoma. You can see how the trees are in the water there. Popped up really. As the water comes up, those trees get in the water. Those are water willows is what those are. They provide real good cover up in shallow water for a lot of little fish and minnows and fry. And as the water gets higher, big bass will get in them as well. But the deer are really feeding heavily there. And you can see as you look down the bank, a lot of those are in the water. If you looked out front, you see that the weeds and grass in the waters, stuff becomes inundated. And all of that creates nutrients and stuff. We actually had an algae bloom I saw last week, which was pretty nice. That was without any fertilization at all. But we keep the lake in a pretty good way to create algae of its own, and then we spur it with probably be April or May, late April, early May. We'll start fertilizing with Southeastern Pond Management from Auburn, Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, Jackson, Tennessee. Start fertilizing. We'll probably do a video on the fertilizing. Get Apache and I'll get out there and start putting it in the water and fertilizing, making things better for the fish, just like we make things better for the animals. That's the way we do it here on the Eagle. It's pretty costly, but hey, we don't smoke or drink or gamble or do any of that stuff. Why not spend money on the animals?